Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Trading Bitcoin with your host, Vays. Don't usually stream on Sunday, but I didn't stream yesterday. So thought I'd do it today. And also, I'll be traveling to Prague tomorrow. So I don't know if I get to do a video tomorrow because I have a somewhat early in the morning flight. So there you go. I'm going to do it today. But yeah, I am in Edinburgh. I can never pronounce it right. I'm just hanging out with myself tonight. So if you are watching this and you happen to be in Edinburgh and you want to grab a whiskey tonight, I know it's already 7 o'clock. So talk about last minute. But I should have tweeted it out. Damn. I should have mentioned it in my Twitter. But I'm going to probably resend the tweet right after this tweet. I'm just going to resend the video and I'll say, hey, reply to this tweet if you want to grab a beer in Edinburgh tonight. I'm not doing anything. I'm just going to go walk around town. Okay, let's go to the charts. Damn it. Hold on. It's not letting me share application again. So that means I got to close stuff so I don't dox anything. I don't know why it does it sometimes. Like, I don't even know what the reason for that is. So I want to make sure I'm not. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Now we can do screen share. Let's get to it. All right, I'm going to try not to get suckered into any political discussions. This is the reason why I need to open a proper political channel on Rumble. But I don't have time to set up the channel, so I'll do my best not to pay attention to the group chat, to the live chat. See, the thing is, if I want to look at your live chat for financial stuff, I'm going to get suckered into political discussions, and then people just get more upset because they don't like hearing the truth or opinions for that matter. So monthly chart, the month is coming to an end, guys. We're already on the 22nd. We got about a little over a week to go. And this is going to be a pretty disastrous monthly candle. The entire candle will be below 2 moving averages. And it would be nice if we make it all the way to the next one, but I don't know if we will. So let's go to the lower level time frames. The good news is that the weekly time frame is in my buy zone based on an MRI finding a bottom. The MACD, however, is terrible, and the CMF is also not in good shape. The weekly chart, we are about to close an 8th consecutive weekly down week. That is unprecedented. I don't think we've ever had 6 consecutive down weeks. As you guys know, the Dow Jones also has had 7 or 8 consecutive down weeks for the first time since the 1920s, pretty much the first time in 100 years that the stock market has had 8 consecutive down weeks. Is it significant? It's not that significant. It doesn't actually matter. Like, we could have fallen from 45,000 to 24,000 in a single week. So it doesn't really matter that it took 8 weeks. It's just that statistically, it is very unlikely. It's almost like tossing a coin and getting heads 8 times in a row. It's probably has never happened to many people. 8 times heads in a row is very, very unlikely. Can you get 24 heads in a row? The answer is yes, of course you can, right? Because the probability of the next toss is still going to be 50-50. It's just that the probability of this many down weeks is incredibly small. So the probability of another week being red is just like with a coin flip, is technically 50-50. But what are the chances that you get 9 consecutive weeks? So this is why you have the gambler's ruin, I guess, theory, where if you constantly double down on a coin flip, eventually you're going to win. But in reality, sooner or later, you run out of money. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think we're way overdue for an up week. And that is why on a 4-day allocation chart, I remain with a bullish position. As you can see, the current candle has not broken last week's high, nor last week's low. And by last week, I mean last candle, which is a 4-day candle. We can move this blue line up a little bit, because once we go below the prior candle's low, I'm pretty much not optimistic at all on my bullish trade. The line is almost the same. I probably moved it up by about $25. However, on the bullish side, I have to leave the line here for now. But once this candle ends, I can move the blue stop loss line up to below current candle's low. And I can move this line to above that candle's high. I want to almost do it already, because if our current candle with 2 days to go goes up above and starts making new highs, I'm going to be extra bullish. So I'm going to do it. I also don't think I'm going to do a video in the next 24 hours. So we're going to be coming up to the end of that candle. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to set these lines at current candle's top and current candle's bottom. And you can assume that I would be interested in adding to my position if we break this line, and taking away my position if we break the bottom line. For those visually impaired, the upper line is at $30,300. If we break that tomorrow with the stock market, I would be interested in adding to my bullish position. I'm saying interested. I'm not saying I will, I'm saying interested. It depends on when and how. If it does it in the first 15 minutes of stock market open, I probably wouldn't do it. If it does it 24 hours from now, I probably would. So, use your judgment. I would use mine. And the same thing goes for the downside, which is at $28,865. All right, before we go on to the daily chart, the financial summit is 2 months away. We still have room in our incredible castle. You have to wait for this 60-second video to finish to see the incredible castle. No, not this one, but that is nearby. And man, that's the castle. That's one of the rooms in the castle, actually. That's one of the higher end rooms in the castle. And if you're curious what kind of rooms we have pre-reserved for this incredible event, all you got to do is click on room upgrades. And you can see that these rooms are included with the entry to the event. You get 5 nights, all inclusive, food, alcohol, everything. These are the upgrade options. This one is sold out. So is this one. But I think one of these is still available and one of these is still available before those get sold. So we got some awesome rooms. You can flip through the pictures and check those out. Okay, next, let's talk about the daily chart. The daily chart is not too interesting, but we can see that the funding rate is starting to creep up for the first time. That's great. I'm really liking what the RSI is doing. I'm liking what the MACD is doing. I'm still not thrilled with the CMF. The moving averages look horrible. But just like with the other chart, we can start to lower our breakout line. Because if this consolidation continues and we start creeping up above this blue line, which I just lowered to $30,700, I would be bullish on the daily time scale, waiting for us to get to the $36,000, $37,000 area. This really shouldn't be blue. My area of concern is below the latest swing low, which is at $28,600. Let's go on. Short-term chart. I really do like this chart because look how incredibly the MRI support line has actually been support. And we do have an MRI resistance line, but we've been getting rejected lower than the MRI resistance line. And all I'm going to keep doing is I'm just going to keep moving this arrow to the right. Because once we establish some hourly closes above $30,600, I think we're going to take off to the upside in a hurry. It doesn't mean we're going to go to 100K, but at least in a short term, that's a very good bullish trade. And I would love to add to my bullish position on my 4-day chart before that happens, before that breakout takes place. GBTC, we're on the weekend. We have to wait till tomorrow, so there's no reason to discuss it. I remain very bullish on oil, as you guys know. I remain somewhat bullish on gold a little bit. And the stock market's been closed, so there's no reason to talk about the correlation. You can see the S&P has been on a downtrend for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 consecutive weeks. So let's see what happens next week. Okay, so I tweeted out that Sri Lanka is another casualty of hyperinflation and a total collapse of the government. I once again have to explain to people that hyperinflations are a political event. It is not an economic event. Hyperinflation did not occur in Sri Lanka because they printed too much money. Hyperinflation occurred in Sri Lanka because the government can't keep the country together. And because the government in Sri Lanka has started to collapse and has imploded, the last thing that the government does is print a bunch of money, because the money that is currently out there, people don't respect the money. It's people's loss and faith in both the government and the currency happens first. The money printing happens second. Venezuela did not go into hyperinflation because Chavez was printing too much money. Chavez was printing too much money because the people have lost respect for their political and economic systems. This is one of the things that people just don't understand. This is also why those that have been screaming that the US dollar will go into hyperinflation for the last 1, 2, 3, in the cases of Doug Casey, 4 decades, maybe even 5 decades now. People that have been screaming that the US dollar is going to go into hyperinflation for the last 5 decades have been perpetually wrong. The reason they have been wrong is because it doesn't actually matter how much money the American government prints. It matters whether the people believe in and respect the American political system. Respect the American government, respect the political system, respect the American economic system. And the reason why I now believe the US dollar has a high probability of going into hyperinflation is because after the election of 2020, respect for the American political system, the government itself, the Joe Biden, the Democrat-ruled government, I believe there is no respect for that government at all. And we saw this in Afghanistan, where the Taliban basically laughed at the US military and just, took what they wanted. It was a complete debacle and a joke of how the American military left Afghanistan. Russia is completely unaffected and not scared at all of NATO, nor the American military, nor the American government. And you'll see the same thing from China as well. So this global disrespect of the US political system, is what will drive the US dollar into hyperinflation. The complete and utter disrespect of the world about the United States. And the same thing is happening inside America as well. That actually started with Trump. Let me not blame everything on the Democrats here. So the complete and utter disrespect of the United States internally within the United States happened when Trump got elected. But I will blame the mainstream media for this one, because the mainstream media made it acceptable to disrespect the sitting US president to that kind of a degree. Look, every US president gets made fun of, right? Like we all knew like Bush was not the sharpest tool in the shed. And a lot of people really did not like Obama, but disrespecting Obama too much you would have been accused of being a racist. Like you couldn't really disrespect Obama too much, independent of race, because you disrespect Obama too much, you would be labeled as, well, you disrespect him because he's black. So Obama wasn't that disrespected within the United States like George W. Bush was. When Trump came in, and this is important, when Trump came in, it was perfectly acceptable to disrespect a current sitting president. It became acceptable. So when Biden got elected, the acceptance of complete and utter disrespect for a sitting US president continued, only from the opposite side, because Biden's a Democrat, Trump was, I wouldn't really call Trump a Republican, but he's way closer to a Republican than he is to a Democrat. And in the case of Biden, I mean, it's obvious, right? Like he's not mentally there. He needs to be in a nursing home, and this is obvious. But at the same time, a lot of us feel that the election wasn't exactly honest and fair. So when you have a large percentage of the country believing that the election wasn't honest and fair, it adds to complete lack of disrespect for your own country, which leads to disrespect of the economic system, which leads to hyperinflation due to the disrespect of the currency, which leads to the government printing more and more money. So hyperinflation happens last because faith and respect of the currency has been lost, because faith and respect of the government has been lost. And this happens internally within your own citizens and externally from other countries. So I used to keep this list of all the hyperinflations. I need to add Sri Lanka to the list. I actually need to add a bunch of countries to the list. I think I last updated in like 2018. So now let's go take a look at what's going on with the Russian currency and the Turkish currency. So here's the Turkish currency, and I'm going to Turkey, by the way. So I'm going to Prague tomorrow, and after a couple of days in Prague, I'm going to go to Turkey. And I'm really curious how far US dollars will take me in Turkey. I continue to be very surprised at the hyperinflation in Turkey. And this again shows both internal and external lack of confidence and respect for both the government and the currency, the economic system. And that is leading the country to print extra money. Again, this one surprises me a lot. To me, this is in hyperinflation. The Turkish currency, to me, is in hyperinflation. Let me see. This is a monthly chart. So in 1 month, currency in one and a half months, the currency devalued by 50%, basically. It lost half its value, went from 9 to 18. So that's pretty much hyperinflation. So the currency is in hyper. The Russian ruble monthly chart. So this is a very serious line for the Russian ruble at around 56, 55, 56 rubles to the dollar. It is the weekend, the market is closed. I'm very, very curious how it will continue to perform next week. I understand that inside Russia, things are very, very different. I'm sure the exchange rate is a lot worse. But as this international exchange rate continues, and more countries are forced to buy the ruble in order to buy food and energy from Russia, people will get used to it, and it will be a lot easier to work with the dollar. Bavarian Nordic. I don't even know what that is. Look at Bavarian Nordic. Hey guys, I need more. Is that like the Nord? Is that a? I don't know what that is. Is it like a Baltic Dry Index, or is that like the stocks of the Nordic nations? Like, I've never heard of Bavarian Nordic. I can try to look it up. Let's look at the US dollar first. The US dollar is mostly the exchange rate against the euro. You guys see this monthly MRI top. Yes, we did go a little higher on current month, but I've been waiting for this dollar to top. Maybe it finally did. Not in the best tradable opportunity here, but I think this is temporary. I think the dollar is going to get significantly stronger. Bavarian Nordic. That's probably it. It's got to be it. I'm assuming this is a, what the hell is this? Is this a company? This might be a company because I see an earnings and revenue. So it has to be a company. Let me look at, that's the weekly chart. Let's go to the daily. So did they find oil? Like, I don't know what the company does. Whatever they did after earnings, they did very well. So it looks really good. If you ask me, was I bearish or bullish on this on the day before earnings? The answer is I would have been very, very bearish. We have just broken a prior support. We have an MRI red star. This is a very bearish look. Then it reports pretty positive earnings. Not really. Barely beat and missed on revenue. It has what's known as a Harami candle, a bullish Harami. And then it breaks a moving average and the prior swing high with a green star candle. And this is where you start to get a little bit bullish, but then something happened. Maybe they discovered an oil field. I have no idea, right? I don't know what happened. Would I have been in this trade? Probably not. Would I be going into this trade now? Probably not, but I don't know what the news event is. I do know that in a couple of days is going to be an MRI top, so there you go. It's a vaccine company. What kind of vaccine? They make the monkeypox vaccine. Oh my God. Oh, good Lord. Can I go over the SPY? I actually want to go and grab a whiskey, guys. I'm in Edinburgh. If you are watching me right now and you are in Edinburgh and you want to grab a whiskey because you can't find good tequila in Scotland, I'm also pretty convinced that Scottish and Irish should be their own language, like an official language. Because I honestly need a translator sometimes. All right, hey guys, we had a, if you go to the Trading MRI, we had a little bit of a facelift for the website. So check it out. It's super cool. You can set your favorites. You can set alerts. I was looking at Apple earlier. Luna USDT still bearish everywhere. If you go to Forex, let me see. No, let's just go to stocks. Apple is bearish across the board. So this is how you can spot like trends. So Apple is bearish on the daily, just getting started actually. Wait, how do I view the, oh, there it is, weekly. The bearish on the weekly broke MRI support and still has multiple weeks to go. And it's just getting started on a monthly because look, it had an MRI top on a monthly scale. You can see that down arrow with a 1. And the MRI support line is coming. So Apple isn't looking very hot right now. Looks like it has plenty more downside. Great tool, check it out. You get a free trial, and then you can set up MRI alerts. When I eventually stop traveling the world and speaking, I'm going to be using this to manage my portfolio. I'm just going to set up alerts on the NASDAQ 100 stocks. All right, this is pretty much it. In my last video, I'm going to leave you guys with this. In my last video, multiple people left comments to my YouTube channel about laughing at the fact that there could be a tactical nuke used in this current global conflict. I don't know why they're laughing at a possibility of something that is not trivial. And they're calling me that I'm spreading FUD. Now, I don't want any nuclear tactical nukes, no matter how small they are, because I believe in peace, and there should have been peace. The Ukrainian president was elected to make peace, but instead, we're on the brink of a global World War III. And I will say that here are some publications. This was an article from The Hill, which has mysteriously disappeared, but you can still see the title of that article because I had a link to it. And it says, CIA director, the US CIA director, CIA director says, US can't take lightly possibility of Russia using nuclear weapons. This was an article. Why did The Hill delete this article? You should go ask them. Here's an article from CNBC. Again, these are the people that are laughing believe these headlines. This is their publications. Russia threatens new nuclear deployments if Sweden and Finland join NATO. This was written over a month ago. And yet the US media is saying that Putin is perfectly okay with NATO and with Sweden and Finland joining NATO. That is a lie. Russia and Putin is not okay with it. I don't care what the US media prints. What the Western media is printing is that Russia is perfectly fine with Finland joining NATO. I don't think they care about Sweden that much, but they're not fine with Finland joining NATO. But if they're gonna print for months and months how Putin is perfectly okay with it, when Putin eventually does something to Finland, the same Western publications are going to say Putin is a liar. He said he was okay with it, but now he's attacking Finland. But he never said he was okay with it. I haven't seen anything from Putin that says he's okay with it, other than from Western media. And I speak Russian, and I read Russian. Not very well, but I can speak it and I can read it. And I have not seen it anywhere where Putin says, yeah, Finland, go ahead and join NATO, and we're perfectly fine with it. That's literally not what they're saying, okay? But if the US tells you, though, if the West tells you that that's what they said, then they then get to accuse Putin and Russia of being liars when they do something about this, okay? Now, here's one of my favorites, of course, from the Huffington Post. Could a small nuclear war reverse global warming? And Huffington Post makes the argument that maybe a small tactical nuke being deployed is perfectly great for the environment and for the climate. Okay, so there they are. And my absolute personal favorite, I actually read this just yesterday. I found the time, I read this, because I wasn't sure if this was satire or real. And it looks like it's real. I cannot find proof that this is satire. 10 reasons why a nuclear war could be good for everyone. Everyone. And their reasons are absolutely incredible, from it's not going to kill everyone to how radiation won't last long, to how it will stop earthquakes. Not exactly sure how that is, but maybe I should get my geology degree back. How it's going to improve the ozone layer, how it's going to have this amazing lightning. It's really fascinating. The Build Back Better plan would be incredible, and it'll create all new elements. And of course, extinction level events are great for life on this planet. Like if the dinosaurs weren't all destroyed, then humans might not have evolved. So if humans aren't all destroyed, then the next evolution of life would not be able to take place. So these are the kinds of articles that I wouldn't call this a mainstream publication. I've never heard of this publication, but these are the kinds of people that whose vote counts just as much as yours. And this wasn't written now, by the way. This looks like it was written in 2018. I did not realize that till just now. So yeah. So this person's, and it was fact checked too. So the fact checkers vote for president, and the authors vote for president count as much as your vote. So keep that in mind the next time you are laughing at certain things. All right, on this note, I'm gonna go walk around Edinburgh. There's like a castle like right there. Staying in a super cool hotel. It's called the Glass House. I'm gonna resend this tweet so that I mentioned the fact that I'm in Edinburgh. I wish I remember when I sent it out the first time. All right, guys. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all on the next one. Bye, guys.